Hello everyone. Welcome back to Sustainable Living with Shilpa Reddy, powered by Planet Green's Farm Natura, a new beginning to your life. Today, on yet another episode of Kankatala Q&A with Shilpa, I will be addressing a few questions that we have received in the past few weeks. Following the tradition, today I am wearing a blue Venkatagiri cotton sari with gold zari border and gold checks on the body. Venkatagiri cotton saris are hand-woven and known as zari cotton saris and are popular for their Jamdani style weaving pattern. The sari hails from the historic town Venkatagiri of Andhra Pradesh, where 50% of the population is in weaving community who has dedicated generations preserving this weaving technique. The origin of the sari can be traced back to 1700s during the rule of Venkatagiri, when this hand-woven sari was created exclusively for the queens, royals and aristocrats. Hand-woven sari is created using charka. This is where the cotton yarn transforms into cotton threads. The yarn is then loaded in looms and the length of the yarn loaded on the worm is called pancham, which is also the measuring unit of these saris. One pancham can give birth to 4 Venkatagiri saris, and it is a week-long process to create one pancham. These marvelous Indian saris are known for their soft and light feel along with a rich look and can be draped anytime, anywhere and is an all-season wear. Kankatala has got this very clean and elegant Venkatagiri sari. The magnificent work on this cotton sari is a shade of light blue and it's flaunted with zari checks in gold with zari khadi border and pallu. Using cardboard in compost is a rewarding experience that makes great use of boxes taking up space. There are different types of cardboard to compost, so knowing what you're working with beforehand is important when learning how to compost cardboard boxes. In fact, cardboard waste makes up to 31% of landfills. Composting cardboard is a practice that is becoming more popular now that people are beginning to realize the benefits of composting. Composting cardboard is perfect if you have just moved or if you are cleaning your attic. There are generally 2 to 3 types of cardboards to compost. These include the first one, corrugated cardboard. This is the type usually used for packaging. Any type of corrugated cardboard can be used in compost as long as it is broken into smaller pieces. Flat cardboard. This type of cardboard is most often found as cereal boxes, drink boxes, shoe boxes and other similar flat surfaced cardboards. Wax coated cardboard. These types include cardboard that has been laminated with other materials such as wax, coated paper cups for example, or non-degradable foil lining paper that we used for food for pets. These types are more difficult to compost. Regardless of the type used, shredded cardboard works best when using cardboard in compost. But if you cannot shred it, just rip it or cut it as small as you can. It is also a good idea to remove any tape or stickers that will not break down easily. Making simple changes to the business can go a long way. Use recyclable materials for environmentally friendly packaging. Plastic, paperboard, cardboard and other materials can be reconstituted to create new items. Talk with your packaging manufacturer to find out which materials will meet your budget, needs and values before beginning the production. Specific factors for sustainable design of packaging may include use of minimal materials, reduced packaging, reduced layers of packaging, lower mass, lower volume, etc. Eco-friendly and sustainable packaging is often made from recycled materials, reducing the waste of resources during production. The manufacturing process also tends to be more efficient, further minimizing resources and reducing the negative impact that your business has on the environment. Many people consider humble cardboard as an environmentally friendly material. That's because it is. It's organic, ethical, sustainable, and reusable. Corrugated cardboard is the go-to solution for packaging sustainably because they are organic. Eco-conscious consumers care about sustainable packaging because they are concerned about the environment and they are willing to support companies that share this concern. Cotton fabric packaging is most sustainable, renewable, and biodegradable, making it as an excellent choice. It is environmentally friendly fiber throughout its entire product life cycle. Most chemical fibers are petroleum based, which means they come from non-renewable sources. The brown paper is entirely biodegradable, so it doesn't harm the environment as such. On the other hand, white butter paper has chlorine traces that can seep into foods. Moreover, it is not sustainable as the baking paper is coated with silicone. The bleached one may contain toxic dioxin which can leach when heated. It can be harmful to your health and cause many health problems. So, it's better to use unbleached paper. If you buy butter paper wrapped in foil laminate, you may be able to reuse them in the place of foil for baking potatoes and other products. These wrappers are not recyclable or compostable though. To ensure that your food doesn't stick, butter paper contains a layer of silicone making it unrecyclable. To conclude, it is made from paper, but it is then treated with an acid during production to give its high stability. Then it is coated with non-stick material, typically silicone. Not recyclable, not compostable, just garbage. Eco leather, also called eco-friendly leather, is leather produced using processed and chemicals that are safe for the environment. Other eco-leather production standards specify only the use of natural materials in the production process. Often, harsh chemicals are used in the leather tanning. There are not many options in the market yet, but they do exist. These include EcoLife by Green Hides, which creates eco-friendly chrome-free leather in Italian tanneries that recycle and purify wastewater. The Leather Working Group is also promoting sustainable environment practices within the leather industry. The obvious advantage of vegan leather is that it does not have an animal origin. However, its components make it an enemy on the war against plastic, for some worse than the natural leather. We can create more and more sustainable alternatives to natural leather, but they will still require resources to be manufactured. With animal welfare and the environment up for a question with traditional leather, vegan leather is on the rise. There is also animal leather that can be termed as sustainable. There is absolute difference in finding an animal to hunt to make leather versus using the dead animal skin to make leather. But if the leather is processed at a responsible tannery or is saved from a landfill to be upcycled into a new jacket, then leather can be a healthy part of sustainable fashion ecosystem. Plastic sticks around in the environment for ages, threatening wildlife and spreading toxins. Plastic also contributes to global warming. Almost all plastic are made from chemicals that come from production of planet-warming fuels. When we consider alternatives like metal and glass as alternatives to plastic, we should know how these options stay apart from one another. Metals get extra points for practicality and durability of use over glass. Using recycled glass, cullet in some types of glass can reduce energy requirements and environmental footprint. Glass bottles are more eco-friendly. Unfortunately, harmful chemicals like ash, sulfur and carbon are a byproduct of the factory production. This pollution is no exception when it comes to making stainless steel bottles that emit high levels of carbon during production. If aluminum cans are made of 100% recycled material, the carbon footprint will be 96% less and thus similar to refilling glass bottles or cartons. However, as only 45% of cans are recovered, the real carbon footprint is much higher. Glass is made from natural raw materials such as sand, soda ash, and limestone combined at a very high temperatures. This wonderful material is sustainable, endlessly recyclable, and provides great environmental benefits. Glass can be considered to be sustainable when you're using for several decades. Metal can be considered to be an option if you are using it for just one decade. Upcycling is a type of recycling in which waste is converted into a new product and materials that are better than the original or have better environmental value. Upcycling benefits the environment by reducing the pollutants of air, land, and water in the process of new goods. It also prevents additional natural resources from being used. It is also reducing the amount of excess waste which would otherwise end up in landfills. Enter the newest sustainability trend within the retail industry, upcycling. Upcycling is reusing discarded objects or materials to create a product of higher quality or perceived value than the original one. Similar to recycled pieces, upcycled items are innovative and eco-friendly. Shopping sustainable fashion has a vocabulary all of its own. Wherever the origin, upcycled textiles are reclaimed and reconstructed to increase their value. Designers work with whatever fabric is available to them at that moment to upcycle. While both recycle and upcycle reduces the amount of junk that goes into our landfills, upcycling turns that same waste into a product of higher quality. While recycling, the quality slightly decreases for certain materials. Upcycling stops adding stuff to the world that is already overwhelmed with materialistic things. It also reuses materials that may otherwise end up in the landfill in the most creative, innovative ways, producing original, often one of the kind items from what may consider to be waste. Upcycled foods are made from ingredients that would usually be thrown away. They are further processed into marketable products, reducing food waste with a positive impact on the environment. Greenwashing is the process of conveying false impression or providing misleading information about how a company's products are more environmentally sound. For example, companies involved in greenwashing behavior might make claims that their products are from recycled materials or have energy-saving benefits. Although some of the environmental claims might be partly true, companies engaged in greenwashing typically exaggerate their claims or the benefits in an attempt to mislead the consumers. Companies have engaged in greenwashing via press releases and commercial touting their clean energy or pollution reduction efforts. In reality, the company may not be making a meaningful commitment to green initiatives. The center danger in greenwashing is that it can mislead people into acting unsustainably. If a company says they are eco-friendly, you may want to buy their products. If these environmental claims turn out to be false, then you are accidentally contributing to harming the environment by supporting the company. Vague, unsubstantiated, misleading, confusing, false, or deceptive claims disadvantage everyone. They create distrust and reduce customers' confidence in legitimate environmental benefits, disadvantages ethical traders, and promote the use of toxic and harmful substances. For a product to be sustainable, it must be possible to produce or consume it in a way that it doesn't result in harm or destruction. If the production of a product requires non-renewable resources, damages the environment, or results in harm to individuals or society, it is unlikely to be considered sustainable. First, check the label. Often, labels on a product will convey how the product is made and what its environmental impact might be. For example, you can look for labels that indicate that the product was made from recycled materials, was made from renewable resources, is 100% biodegradable, or was manufactured using ethically sourced labor. You may also see marks of approval from formal standards and organizations like the EPA or the World Fair Trade Organization. Also check for a few label icons or details like biodegradable, cruelty-free, chemical-free, recyclable, earthy, organic, and similar others. Many countries have national standards for sustainability that local companies may be legally required to follow. The Global Reporting Initiative, GRI, provides standard reporting guidelines that the organization can voluntarily follow. The guidelines outline economic, environmental, and social impact for individual products and the organization on the whole. Those are your queries and questions for today. Hope you all found this episode informative. Please do subscribe to my channel. Do not miss any updates. See you all next week. Signing off, Shilpa Reddy.